Facebook and go there.
Oh,
On the right side of the screen, you want to click on the comments button.
Oh, fantastic.
And you're going to get a scroll of people's comments as they come in the room.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Who clicked live? Oh, crap. Hey, everybody. It's Jason and Tom. We're joined by Evan from River's Edge Cutlery. Thanks
Hey,
for
guys. What's going on?
We're broadcasting live to Facebook and to YouTube. And thanks to those who are catching us now. And thanks to those of us who are watching later. We appreciate you. But we wanted to bring Evan in tonight and talk a little bit about what's going on at River's Edge Cutlery. I've seen Evan's YouTube content with the talk show that you have, and it's like The View but watchable. It's awesome. And I'm super excited to have you here to talk about it a little bit.
Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys having me. It was a pleasure to meet you guys at Blade Show this year, so it's good to kind of feel like we're back chilling and talking again.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit. Hey, people are already coming in. Hey, Greg Bartram, what's happening?
Well, we just got a few people. Let's give a second before we divulge all of Evan's details.
We can do that.
Let's drag it out and make it really juicy later.
Took my daughter to the International Arts Festival in downtown Carmel today, and she was very angry at me because I wouldn't buy something for her at literally every booth. It would have cost about $20,000 to get out of there the way that she had a plan. So, bad news, Daddy.
It was International Arts Festival, huh?
That's what they claimed it was, and I suppose it was. I heard Hava Nagila playing from the band stage. So
there you go.
Yeah, that's exactly how you know.
It was raucous, man. We were eating elephant ears and funnel cakes and getting dirty. It was good.
Was it more of an arts festival or more of a Renaissance fair?
Funny you should say that, because some sort of like Renaissance fair thing is in town, and all of the people in character went walking through, singing a song and clapping their hands. It was very weird. So
you got to introduce your children to subcultures early on, I guess.
For the benefit of all the people standing near me, I made a joke. I said, I think there's a tournament. And the rest of the day, Charlotte's like, where's the tournament, Daddy?
Hey, Josh. Thanks for coming to the store, brother. I appreciate you.
Frank Null is here.
I've barely left the house all week. I've just been knifing it. But I had a pretty disappointing dinner. Went to Red Robin. I've been saving it. You want to go to Red Robin every once in a while because it kind of destroys your insides, but it's like really good. They don't have grilled chicken. They haven't had grilled chicken for 3 months since I've been off. They've been out of grilled chicken. And I only eat the teriyaki chicken burger there. So I got it with crispy chicken. I settled. I said, you know what? Same thing. No, not even close. So I am kind of frustrated with my weekend food so far. It was not.
There's no Costco nearby. They can't go get chicken breasts.
Exactly. I don't understand it. How do you not have? It's been months. I get it.
I know there's a bunch of ships out the coast of California that can't get into the port to offload. Don't tell me the chicken's on the boat.
Yeah, it's the grilled chicken freighter.
Probably.
Right.
It's probably still good.
Oh, that'd be fine.
It's like Bare Naked Lady said, chickadee China, the Chinese chicken.
Correct. Yeah, they're shipping it over nowadays. We really can't do anything for ourselves. We're getting everything from overseas nowadays.
Right. What's up, Louie? How you doing? Rich is here. What's up, Rich? So, Evan, whose idea was the talk show? I love it. I think it's really cool that you guys do that. It's nice to hear everybody's take on it. You guys have a good banter among you, and then the audio and the camera work gets better every week. It's awesome.
Well, thank you. Riley, he's Mike's son. He is amazing with camera work. He's got his own YouTube channel where he covers like motocross stuff. So he's done camera work. He's still a really young kid, obviously. He's only 17 years old, but he's been doing that kind of stuff for a good little while. He's really, really good. The idea kind of came from other channels I would watch on YouTube, specifically a channel that dealt with watches. It's called the Urban Gentry. And he runs a channel, or he runs a series with another gentleman from Long Island Watches, where they just kind of shoot the crap and talk about watches. And I just thought that was a really cool format for a show that was casual, but then could also have a little bit of information baked into it without being like overtly educational. So that's kind of where the idea came from. And originally, it was going to kind of have to do with us chilling and drinking either bourbon or beer or whatever we had on hand and talking about knives.
Right.
But it turns out that we have to shoot this at 2 p.m. On a Tuesday every week. So it kind of transferred over to coffee, and that kind of has it all together. But it's been really, really fun to do. And I just love the interaction and the ideas I'm getting from everyone in the community. So it's been really fun.
Was the coffee idea, that was the inception of that, the live show? You were like, we're drinking Cafe Bustelo, we may as well make our own coffee. Oh, wait, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it really was. With like just his reaction to that Cafe Bustelo, I was like, wait, this is so fun. And it's just like it's something that I think most people kind of enjoy coffee, or if we got someone that came on that didn't enjoy coffee, we could kick it with some tea and have just as good of a time. But it's just a way that I think it kind of just chills the mood out a little bit. I'm always drinking a cup of coffee. I'm always watching YouTube shows like that while I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. So I thought it'd just kind of be fun to integrate that into the show.
I think it's a riot. I like that. It feels like a sponsored drop in the middle or in the beginning, but it's not. It's just like it sets the pace a little bit. It's nice. It's better than just dropping right into talking about knives.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, the editing is definitely a feat on that video, because there's about 2 hours of raw footage where we're just trying to figure our lives out.
Right.
But the final product looks a little bit more polished, I think.
So
we need to have you guys on. We need to have you guys on the show. Maybe even through this technology that you've brought me on here with.
This technology is pretty spiffy. I kind of like it. It allows you to have multiple people, because Facebook, if you try to do it native in Facebook, no good.
There's lag on both ends. It's terrible. This works pretty good.
Yeah, and the feed, like the actual chat feed, kind of reminds me of Twitch a little bit. I don't know if you guys are too familiar with Twitch, but
yeah, it's pretty similar. It will work with Twitch. It'll work with Instagram. It'll work with Facebook. You can
really? So we could run this on Twitch. We could start streaming ourselves playing Candy Crush or something, and this would be totally applicable.
I'm down with that. I can crush some candies like. Whew.
The only thing it won't do, which is really weird, is you can't simulcast on Facebook and Instagram at the same time, even though they're owned by the same people. It doesn't make any sense, but it won't let you. Go figure.
It's the same issue that we're running into with Red Robin sourcing grilled chicken. It's like we can put a man on the moon, but we can't simulcast on Facebook and Instagram. And Tom can't get grilled chicken.
In life. It's the basics.
It's the basic things. They can get crispy chicken because they can just get you some nasty chicken and batter it up and fry it, and they think no one will know the difference, but not Tom.
I was concerned when wait, why is one readily available and the other one's not?
That's concerning. That means they're not starting from the same raw ingredients.
Kind of does.
Different factors, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this is the most important question you're going to get asked today. You better be ready.
Ready.
What's in your pocket?
It's not in my pocket. It's right next to me on the table, but I got the Malibu today. This looks so small on camera.
That's what I always
say. Yeah, it looks like small on camera. I don't know. Are you guys Protech people at all?
I've handled the Malibu. I really like it. It's not something I would get, but for something it's almost making me go to a new brand and a new kind of knife. It's an awesome thing.
I don't own any, but I've played with many, and they're excellent. And I'm mystified how they're able to do it for the price point, and considering they're made in California. It's too good to be true.
I totally agree. I think they can give other manufacturers that blame high prices on U.S. production or have a run for their money. Especially, the fit and finish on these things is amazing. And I kind of like that they run the gambit. Like you can get a Protech that's $120, or you can get a Protech that's $10,000. So I've always thought that was kind of fun. You could experience a brand, and then you can buy this knife, the Blade Show exclusive, or not the Blade Show exclusives. They brought some show knives to Blade Show, and some of them sold for $10,000, which is so fun. What do you guys got?
I've seen a few of those. They're unbelievably good. The handmade models with
Yes.
Whoever's making those strikes me as like a jeweler more than a knife maker.
Yes.
100% agree.
Amazing.
Another thing I really like about them, and then this will stop being a Protech ad, is that they shout out artisans on the box by first and last name. So like if Mike Irie did the hand grind on like a Godson or something, they'll shout it out and put his full name on the box like as part of the specs, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
And that's the last thing I'll say about Protech.
Tom, what are you carrying?
I've been playing with pair of threes for the last couple days, and so I've been messing with this one today. I put an edge on it, tuned it up, and I did the little Jason special. I sanded the scales on this thing.
Oh.
So, guys, this, when you get like, your fancy smooth composite CF materials, it feels like fine. It's smooth. But man, hit this with some 220 and some 400 grit sandpaper, and it's
wet.
It's like wet sandpaper.
Wet, not dry. Wet.
Sandpaper
That means under constant water in the sink
for like 5 minutes, and it's like a new knife in your hand. It really is. It's not just as shinier. It feels different. Like the little contours, like everything's just relieved a little bit more. It feels nice. So I've been working on a pair of threes for the last 3 days, and I did these three this last 3 days, and they are fun little knives. I don't know. It's been a while since I carried a pair of three, so just trying it again.
The color will pop better on the on that material, and also on the regular carbon fiber, it will look a little less dusty and it'll look more glassy. So if you don't believe it, take your knife apart, take it to the sink, get it wet, and look at how pretty it is while it's wet. The sanding will get it towards that look. But yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, the color on that orange really popped. Who made those scales?
Aramis.
Yeah, they're so nice.
Yeah,
I have a relatively basic pair of three. It's within eye shot. If I could convince my girlfriend to grab it for me, that would be awesome.
What is it?
That pair of three that's sitting over there on the windowsill.
Ooh, this is a test. I'm interested what she comes back with.
She's getting it. Thank you so much. So this was a Christmas gift that I got. Yeah, from Bailey. Oh, it's so nasty looking in the light right now. But it's a one of the bento box M390 pair of threes. The worst thing happened the other day. I carried it all day, and then I realized I lost a body screw.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I know a guy.
So,
We can help you with that. Knives Plus sells very affordable parts. You can get steel or titanium, and they're very good.
I think I'm going to upgrade to titanium. And then, do you guys remember? I know you guys have been in the Spyderco game long enough to remember. The first pair of three I ever got was just like a standard black G10 S30V pair of three, and the Loctite on it was so abusive. And now I'm wishing they put a little bit more Loctite on their newer models.
I'm a pretty big believer in Loctite. My screws back out a lot. They just don't.
I use a little bit. I use enough that it's sticky. I don't want so much that I'm going to struggle taking it apart again later. But I always Loctite screws when I'm done putting a knife back together. I like using the stick because it takes a little bit longer to set. If you use the liquid, ironically, it sets much faster. So just a little tiny bit. And the way I'll do it is I'll take the stick, poke it up. I take the screw and I just rake one side of the thread across it. And that just puts enough on there that it makes it stay in place a little bit better.
The stick is a total game changer.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Way less mess, and I feel like it's going to last forever. We just got one for the store for reassembling stuff, and they got one at the custom shop, I believe. And man, it's just so fast. I love that thing.
It's way better than trying to control the liquid.
I can do this for you. So you said something that I hear a lot, but you said upgrade to titanium.
Okay.
So titanium is cool. Titanium you can get in crazy ass colors, but steel is a stronger metal. And I have, I'm not going to say how many. I have a extra body screw I can send you that's made of steel, if you would like that. And you
listen. Listen, I'm always out here being frugal. So if you have a single body screw for me in steel,
Okay,
I
Chico.
I will trade you REC stickers for it.
I can do that.
Done.
Fantastic. That's the art of the deal.
Yeah, steel hardware is really good. And like, if you think about it, what hardware is going to be better than what came from the factory originally? It's made of steel, and it's because these aren't screws that they can just go to Home Depot and say, "Give me the Spyderco screws." It's made for them. So, I don't know. I've been doing a lot of bronzing of hardware, of just the steel hardware, and it gives you that custom look, but you don't. Well, it's free, and you don't have to sacrifice the strength of steel. I mean, titanium's not bad. Titanium's not bad by any means, but I have a couple knives where I don't want to take them apart because I don't think they're going back together after that.
Titanium's better than aluminum, but it is not good like steel. Steel is a better especially for a screw where you're trying to put a lot of torque on it. You don't want the threads to strip.
All right, guys. You sold me.
Yeah, there you go.
The worst feeling is when it goes from righty tighty to righty loosey all of a sudden on a titanium screw, clip screw. I've experienced that a lot of times.
And then it turns a two-minute project into a 2-hour project, plus shipping, plus waiting on it, plus putting it back together.
A TikTok video. Oh no! I
was literally just thinking that.
Well, today
you guys are tapped in.
Yeah, we are. Today I carried my my Pochi. I took my daughter to tennis, and while I was sitting in the car waiting for her to finish, I made a couple videos and stuck them on my Instagram, just because it was funny. So yeah, I got some Pochi vids. That was worth it. And then also I carried this PM2. This is a Magnet Blade PM2 with scales that I got from the EDC lab. They're titanium with a frag pattern, I guess. And I shined these up and then anodized them and got some hardware from Knives Plus. Now this is titanium because I wanted it gold, so I anoded it. But yeah, this was in my pocket today.
It's a good look.
I cut a funnel cake with it, and then I cut an elephant ear with it, and then I didn't care that it was Maximate because I needed a knife, and I did not lick it clean. That would be that's a rookie mistake. So yeah, that was one.
It is Maximate. Yeah, I think we should change like our edge retention test to just how many elephant ears and funnel cakes you can cut with a single edge.
How many wreck knife boxes can I cut open before the tape goo gets so bad that I have to clean it? That's a good one.
I used to when I would pack boxes for ship outs, especially on days with big drops. I'm terrible at using a tape gun and then actually like canting it over and using the blade on the tape gun to actually cut the tape. So I would just meter it out on the desk and then cut it with whatever knife I was using. And holy crap, does that dull a knife blade? Just cutting tape thousands of times per day.
Yeah.
It really does. You don't realize like how much plastic content is in that tape. And when you go to cut it, it just blunts it. It's really crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is the good old days.
Back in the day. I had a funny Riley story. We mentioned Riley earlier. It made me remember at Blade Show, you guys brought 100 shamans with you. And the deal was you had to walk the show and you had to find the kid in the avocado. And you had to run up to him and you had to say, "Holy guacamole." And he would give you a poker chip. And the poker chip would allow you to go direct and you could buy yourself a shaman. And the funny part was I already had the shaman at that point. And the day was long and I was walking through the main lobby and I saw Riley in the suit. And it was right outside the main exhibit hall. And I believe you were with him, Evan.
Probably.
I think it was you, had a camera and he was walking along and he had the bag and all the knives for the day had been sold and he wasn't able to sell anymore. And people were still asking him for the coin. And he had to tell everybody no, and he was really bummed out about it. I ran right over to him, and as loud as I could, I screamed, "Holy guacamole!" I just screamed it, and a whole place got quiet. Like 100 feet in each direction of the hallway, everybody got quiet. Like, what happened? And his face turned red. He was really upset. He's like, "Why did you do that?" It's because it was funny. That's why I did it. Like, oh.
I think my favorite part of that whole weekend was when I think it was the second day we were running around with the avocado soup. Was when we actually got Eric himself to say "whole guacamole" on video.
Nice.
That was just a heartwarming experience.
It's hilarious.
Eric really, regardless of if they have problems getting the coating done, sometimes he thinks you guys' knife is the coolest thing that they make.
Yeah, he told us that your colorway was one of the coolest he'd ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely unique. I think it's kind of a Marmite, or has a kind of a Marmite effect on people. A lot of people like just right off rip, they're like, that is not it for me. But then there's a lot of people that want all their knives in that color scheme, and that's always fun. That's always fun. But
actually, yeah, that's interesting. You guys are now cranking out tons of your color scheme knives.
Yeah, we with the Cerakote stuff, that really opened up a lot of doors for wrecking everything, and not wrecking with a W, but wrecking with an R. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that's come through has turned out really, really cool. One of my favorite was an Arius that got done in that color scheme, and it's like super
Shout
badass.
out Ryan Harrell, savage.
Yeah, shout out Ryan Harrell.
Never would have guessed.
Yeah, Ryan would never get a nice, expensive knife.
You know, that was my idea. That was my idea.
Was it?
That? Yeah. He had a Vero that was damaged. He bought it, and it came to him, and it had some damage on it. And he's like, what am I supposed to do with this? I said, we can carry it. He goes, I already have one I carry. What am I supposed to do with this one? I said, you should send it to Rec and have him avocado it. And he just went, hold on. You think they'll do that? I'm like, I don't know. Find out. That'd be awesome. And then it turned into a 10-minute conversation about, well, what about the clip? Should the clip be black? And I was like, now make the black, make it just like your Para 3. You want black screws, but you want the clip to be the same color as the blade. And we talked it through, and he reached out to you guys and did it. And then I think he did like 25 more.
Yeah, it's just been like a steady flow of really cool knives that I've never seen before in person coming from Ryan. He's got to have one of the coolest collections of anyone in this group, I would think.
His collection is very constantly evolving. I think it's evolved to where it's gonna, I don't know where he can go from here, but he has a few Ariuses, and I think his other knives are becoming less and less as he just kind of falls in love with that knife. And then things that are your guys' color scheme, but yeah, he's racking up the Koenigs.
And he's ridiculous too about and when he first started in the hobby, he was like, if I want it, I'm going to get it. And now he's just uncovering great deal after great deal. And I'll be talking
to him. Is he really?
How'd you do that? Yeah.
He is a wheeler, and
he lucks into all sorts of stuff. He's like, man, I just entered to win and I won it. Or, I asked if I could have it and he gave it to me. Crap like that happens to him all the time. Like,
he just uses this Southern charm.
I guess, yeah. That Okie charm.
That Okie, that earthy charm that Ryan has.
I don't know how those gold bars got in my truck. They just found them there.
I stumbled my way into this entire collection of Koenigs.
Right.
And I never looked back.
He's on a winning streak. He's my hero.
We'll say though, at Blade Show, seeing an emoji come to literal life and walk around I felt very honored. It was one of the funniest things. I never would have imagined that could have happened. It was really funny. I love how you guys have embraced the silliness of the emojis and just made it part of your brand. And I think it's really cool. It makes it, I always like to say, my goal in this hobby is to make it less serious and more just fun. This is a fun hobby. Let's have fun.
Exactly.
And you guys really represent that spirit a lot. I feel like it just like want to be involved in the community online and want the fun aspect of it. And however stupid an emoji is, you guys just, no, you own it, and let's see where we can take it, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect emoji for that. And another thing that it does is it kind of softens that color scheme because it can kind of look like militaristic and, militaristic. And I've seen a lot of servicemen and women carry it overseas, which has been incredibly gratifying to see people using
really
it.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
The most recent one was a sailor, and I can't remember if he was on this group or if it was on another group, but it was just so cool to see like images of it actually like on the edge of the vessel he was stationed on. Really, really cool. So that's entirely gratifying. But what I'm getting at is it doesn't need to be militaristic. It can just be fun. You can just like that color scheme and carry it every day. And the scorpion's a little bit scarier than an avocado, but still super, super fun. I think what you guys have done, like with the challenge coins that you guys put out for the group with all the emojis around the rim on the reverse side, that was one of the coolest things that I've seen from a knife community so far. That's really, really fun.
It was
sorry
really
I
fun.
insulted you by putting the avocado at 4 o'clock. That was not by intent. I should have put it at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, come on, man. We're number one.
So we showed at Blade Show. We showed Eric the coin, and I was explaining to a grown man. It's like, so these are your knives, and so we picked this eggplant. Yeah, an eggplant. That's a knife, and he looked at me like, you guys, what?
It was like explaining nuclear power to Isaac Newton. It was really hilarious. I don't know why you even bothered. They were like, "What's an emoji?"
Is that on T9 text? Do you have those?
Yeah. Emoji. Is that a cartoon?
They're like, oh, yeah. I'm sorry, we're too busy designing and manufacturing some of the most popular knives in the world.
Yeah, right. I'm too busy working with steel. You think I text anyone? I don't know what that means. Yeah, that was.
I don't even know a phone, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Oh, speaking of the eggplant emoji, I spoke to the gentleman from DLT today. There was a Hinderer Friends and Family event that we went to this morning and this afternoon, and some of the gentlemen from DLT were there, and they couldn't have been nicer guys. So shout out to them.
You run into Jason Thune?
Paul was there. Jason wasn't, but it was really, really cool to see him.
I know Paul only by reputation. I don't know that I've ever met him in person.
Could not have been a nicer guy. Super, super helpful. Super, super open to conversation. Really nice to meet him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys didn't get like in a street brawl because you're like competing dealers. You didn't like throw fists.
Yeah, can you believe that we had a conversation over a couple Diet Cokes at a table at the Hinderer Ridge, and there was no animosity. It's crazy.
I know, it's crazy that way. That is really. I mean, it makes sense because everyone's super cool people. But the thing I really love about the dealer interaction in the group is that you guys are you're here to be part of the community. You're not here to just like try to like milk it for whatever there is to be there. Like, no, like you guys interact with each other. There's dealers that buy exclusives from other dealers because they think they're Spyderco fans. And that's what's really cool about the dealer interaction is there's a level of like personability in it. It's not just the not faceless Instagram account, but River's Edge Cutlery. No, it's Brian and Mike Kent. It's Evan. It's Everett.
I feel like what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know, if exclusives sell out at the other guy's shop, that makes it easier for you to sell yours out, ironically. Not that there's less money in pockets, it's that there's more excitement around what you're doing. So,
you know what? And the knife community getting bigger and more people getting into it all the time, that's good for everyone. So, and there's so many great personalities inside the dealer community and outside the dealer community. I've met some of the greatest people I've ever met through the knife community, the knife collecting hobby. So there's no animosity. We're just friends. And you know, there's a lot of times that like we mentioned something and he was like, oh, actually what you can do to fix that is this. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks. You know, like we really appreciate that little bit of advice. And yeah, so just there's no animosity. It's all love around here.
That's good. Tell us about the custom shop a little bit. For those who don't know, you guys are now offering custom modifications of knives, and it's funny because I've been talking to Mike about it forever. Feels like forever. Yeah. And I think he bought the Cerakote machine over a year ago, and I would ask him from time to time, "How's it going?" And he'd go, "We're getting it down. We're figuring it out." And I was like, I've never done it, but I guess it must be hard or something. And you guys hit the ground running though. Like it started and then just boom. It's the amount of work you're putting out is incredible. How's it going?
So a lot of that time kind of building up to it was Mike. Actually, he went to Cerakote's facility and got the training himself. So like he's fully certified and everything like that. So it's been really, really cool to hear him train Everett, who kind of runs the custom shop at REC. And now Eric and Ben are doing Cerakoting with Everett, which is really, really cool. Oh yeah. It's a full-time operation, and I think kind of the lead time or the lag time that you were describing there was more like us figuring out where people could fit best in the family that is REC, and then once we figured out that, hey, I mean, Everett is an excellent photographer. He's obviously awesome on video, but he's got a great eye for design. He's got a great kind of detail-oriented personality. So he could not be a better. There couldn't be a better choice for someone to run the Cerakote shop. They also do anodizing for titanium, not aluminum yet. I know that's something that we're going to get to in the future, but to a certain extent, regrinds and whatnot. So it's been really, really cool. But it is a really long process. I just recently created like a huge information sheet with all the Cerakote colors that we offer at REC, and I learned so much about Cerakote that just from being on their website for like 10 straight hours. And holy crap, is it a process with like baking and degassing and cleaning with acetone and like bead blasting to get it to adhere. It's pretty cool. But that stuff is tough as nails, and the possibilities are endless with it. So it's been really cool to see what they can put out.
Did you know that even though Everett comes off as a little surly at times, he actually has the largest My Little Pony collection in North America?
Yeah, would you have ever guessed that he would be a huge brony?
I mean, it's one thing to have like, all of the Apple Jacks, but then to have all of the Twilight Sparkles also, right? And, I asked him which one is his favorite. He said Rarity because he's fancy. So,
when it comes to the Applejack stuff, I was shocked to see that he had all the domestic models, but he also has JDM imports as well, which is just crazy to see.
Really? Like Asian only limited editions?
Correct. Yeah, colorways that you just can't even imagine.
It's incredible.
But yeah, surly is kind of how he comes off. But Everett's.
What about the black and white ones from back in the 20s, like Steamboat Pony? He's got some of those.
Yeah, he's got some steampunk versions as well, with like gears coming out of their heads and
lots
like
of brass.
Leather. Yeah,
right.
It's cool.
It's impressive. I mean, lots of people don't know that about him, but all have our secrets, I guess.
Yeah, well, he keeps it close because not everyone respects the passion. That's why we don't have the largest knife collections, is because we're spending so much money on My Little Pony.
I only know him as a man of exquisite passion.
Exactly. Jason, he's gonna kill me on Monday. I can't wait for him to hear about this on Monday.
I don't live anywhere near him. I'm okay.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
you'll be fine. I'll have to deal with it.
Don't worry about me.
Oh, no worry. Oh, Todd Roberts, what's up, man?
Well, as you saw, the custom shop, when you hear Cerakote, I usually just think like, oh, someone wants something Cerakoted, they're gonna Cerakote something brown and military-ish. When I hear Cerakote, I think that. As you saw, that Nerf gun Jimbo just pulled up. You guys are doing. I want people to understand. Like when I need a really cool picture for Instagram, I go to your guys' Instagram because the things are just like no one else is doing customs like this. They're very, very creative, very theme oriented, very. I don't know how you guys come up with the design, or if it's input from just the customer, or if Mike and Brian or Everett or whoever kind of collaborate, but they're bonkers.
So some of the coolest projects that I've seen come through have just been someone who says, I want a recent one, and I don't have images of it because that knife is kind of in transit right now, and we like to let them post the first images of it. But there was a gentleman who sent in a Dirac Delta from Microtech, and he wanted it to look exactly like the lightsaber that Mace Windu carries. So he ended up doing a purple blade with all the flats still satin, like a crushed silver handle with like the black lines, like the hilt of the lightsaber, and then the button was gold, and it just looks so freaking cool. And that was just the kind of thing where that gentleman, I don't believe, like drew out a design on a blank picture of an exit. He just said, "Hey, I want it to look like Mace Windu's lightsaber," and Everett was like, "All right, I got you." And it looked truly incredible. He also recently did a Freddy Krueger themed Para 3, I believe it was. I can't remember exactly. It was so cool. And now Brian's fixing to get himself one for Halloween. Because I don't know if you guys know, but Brian is a huge Halloween buff. Like a huge Halloween buff.
I have a good Brian story about those along those lines. I used to work for the Home Depot, and Brian remembered that. And about a month and a half ago, he messaged me and he goes, "Hey, brother, do you know when Home Depot is putting out their Halloween ad set? Because they're doing like this 13-foot yard monster, and I have to have it. And I keep asking my local store, and they won't tell me." I said, "I'll try to find out for you."
That is awesome.
He had to have the yard monster, whatever it was.
Oh, and trust me, he acquired it, so sure. All is well in the world. He took a day off. I think it was Thursday, and that's how serious he is about decorating for Halloween. He took a day off to decorate for Halloween, and it looks incredible. It's like a graveyard and that obviously giant 13-foot skeleton with like the animatronic eyes. It's hilarious, but that's
awesome.
It's totally Brian. But yeah, there's like a little bit of a parallel there that he would be calling a Home Depot, asking them when their drops are.
As I hung up, I was like, I bet he knows somebody at Lowe's, and he probably knows somebody at Menards. He's probably calling them too. "Hey, I need your thing."
He's like racking his mind for who his Home Depot connection is. Right. And you knew, like you still had connections back at Home Depot. You left on good terms.
I did, and I still have friends that work there, and I messaged a couple of them, and one had no idea and told me that they would get back to me after checking the playbook and didn't, and then the other one was like, "Why are you bothering me with this? Who cares?" I was like, I don't have the energy to explain to you why.
Listen, I'm cashing in favor from a friend.
Help me out.
Maybe Brian could, like, this time of year, like from like the month of September and October, he'd go part-time at Rec and go work at Spirit Halloween store.
Yeah.
They're popping up. Just look for like an old Sears or JCPenney or Circuit City, and you'll find a Spirit there.
Just drive down your local thoroughfare, and if you see a Radio Shack, you'll know that it's going to be a Spirit City here in a minute.
Right. Ruby Tuesday.
Yeah, Ruby Tuesdays.
Yep.
Yeah, the website would totally fall apart if Brian went full or part-time.
Gorilla Mike 5150, shout out 5150, says Rec is a ton of fun. Last time I drove down, there was a younger kid that worked there that pulled a Borka stitch out of his pocket. Everyone there was a knife guy. I was going, how I imagine heaven.
The younger kid that Gorilla Mike 5150 is describing, he's Cole. He's the sharpener, and he has one of the nicest but also most compact collections I've ever seen. He's got some stuff from like GTC and Borka, CKF. He's got a Rockstead. Like, he's got a crazy collection. I think it's a total of like 8 or 10 pieces, so not like insanely huge, but a lot of heavy hitters packed in there. And he carries it in like a now pack, so whenever someone is interested, he can always show them up.
So he does the sharpening at the shop, maybe?
Yes, he does.
This is something you can do us a favor on and just pimp your sharpening services, because we get asked all the time, who can sharpen my knife? And you guys can sharpen knives. Like, quick, you can describe the process of how you sharpen a knife too. It's different than expecting.
So we do offer sharpening. It kind of initially started as something we just were offering to local people, but people send in knives all the time. You can find our address on the website, riversedgecutlery.com, and ship us in batches of knives, and we'll get them sharpened for you. He uses a 1-inch belt. I don't know the exact grit on that. And then he transfers it over to a paper wheel on a rotor that's kind of essentially like a rotating strop with some green hops compound to finish it off. And then we also have, actually, funny enough, we also have a Spyderco sharp maker that's just off to the side that he touches things up on when he's done. But Cole is absolutely excellent at it. He's another guy that's like really, really detail oriented, and you kind of tell that by his collection, the way he's put it together. But he's really, really good, and it costs like $4 for a pocket knife edge. So it's a good value as well.
Yeah, you guys do this in a commercial capacity. You're not sitting on every single one on a KME for an hour. You guys have processed down. You get a sharp edge in an efficient manner. So it's not, I imagine, it's not a ton of money, like you said.
No, it's really inexpensive, but it's also, it's not going to be like a Scott Gunn mirror edge like you had on your Para 3 there. It's a working edge. It's really, really sharp, like obviously shaving sharp, but it's not going to be something that you can use as a mirror.
I've had you guys put an edge on a knife while I was standing there, and it was fast and easy, and it was definitely sharp, and it. Yeah, it wouldn't bother me at all to send you all of them, having you do them all. And at $4 a knife, it's a bargain. I mean,
yeah.
Well, you guys are far too kind. I appreciate all the support from you guys.
It's great. I love being able to point people to you, so that
yeah, like
it's daunting for some people to think, wait a minute, I'm going to spend $1,000 on strops and stones and systems, and then I need to do 100 edges before I know what the hell I'm doing. No. I just need a sharp knife. What do I do?
That's like a whole other world when it comes to the knife hobby. I feel like once someone's kind of run their course learning, and not that you can ever get done learning in the knife community, but once they're satisfied, they kind of found their niche, like what they want to collect, and they have like, maybe they've gotten their grail piece, and then they are like, oh wait, do I need a KME? Do I need a wicked edge? Do I need this, that, or the other? And I think that's like a really cool way for someone to almost get like a deeper connection with their knives. It's almost like you can love cars, and you can drive your cars all the time, but like working on your own cars kind of gives you a little bit more of a deep connection. I think it's kind of the same way with that, like sharpening your own knives can kind of give you a deeper connection. And I think it's totally really cool. I'm personally not there yet. I don't have the itch to get a KME just yet. I've seen the work that guys you can get on, or seen the edges that you guys can do on KMEs, wicked edges, and it's really, really cool. But I think my ADHD is a little bit too severe for me to get into that.
Oh, you have no idea. I am bonkers with ADHD. It's like my peace. It's how I find center, is I sit down and I sharpen. And there's a difference between sharpening just to get like sharp maker, get it sharp as quick as you can, and sitting down and like, I want to mirror an edge and I want to take my time and I'm really going to invest myself in this. I spent an hour and a half sharpening this morning, and I missed lunch completely. Just blew by because it was so zen-like to just sit here.
Yeah, it's bonsai trees. It's really like that. I know. I have 4 hours in this Koenig, and I'm not happy with it because I put a microscope up to it and I was looking at it, a 60-time magnifier, and I was like, well, it's good, but like right here, from here to here, it's not that great. So, I need to fix it. And also, I've only cut one knuckle with it. I need to cut more skin.
Yeah.
The easiest way to do that's that is run my hand past it.
With a Koenig, especially something smooth like that, that's so you got a good edge. So are you guys podcast guys or music guys when you're sharpening, or nothing? Is it completely zen?
Just the sharpener going back and forth. Like today I listened to Coldplay and I was like, I did get lost, and I was like, I must listen to 8 songs because I named all the ones I listened to. I was like, I only went through 2 stones that whole time. I was just sitting there, just zoned out.
See, I think I could get down with that.
I usually either binge a TV show I've already watched, or I watch a movie. So I have a television on that wall, and I put the system right in front of it. So as I'm working, I can listen and I can look up every now and then. That's usually how I do it. But if it wasn't that, I'd probably do a podcast.
So your podcast guy, what do you listen to?
Yeah.
Depends if I'm in my car or if I'm walking around. I'll listen to podcasts whenever one of the podcasts I really like and I have time where I can think. I will listen to a podcast whenever I can, because I got too busy. I used to do it at work because I was very mindless job. And then suddenly my work got to a point where I think, and I couldn't handle both things. So one day I'll start thinking at work.
I think that's part of our ADHD thing, whereas I can do one thing at a time. But I can't even listen to music while I work, honestly. I'll start thinking about the lyrics, then I'm like, oh wait, I'm back to work. What do you guys listen to? Are we not brand loyal to podcasts on here?
If I'm gonna listen to every week on Wednesday and Friday, NPR puts out Planet Money. I'll listen to that, and I listen to Adam Carolla show. Those are the ones I make priority. And if I have more time, there's some other ones that I could revisit. I want to listen to The Office Ladies. I haven't listened to that yet, but I think I like it.
I don't do every show I don't do every show of every. How can we say this? Every episode
of every podcast.
Yeah. I tend to be more guest focused. So Tom, I've listened to the Adam Carolla show for 10 years. So if the guest seems like somebody I want to hear, then I listen to it. And the descriptions are getting better now, so you kind of know what the content will be.
Yes.
So if it's a topic I don't care about or a guest I don't care about, then I don't listen to it. But I listen to that show. I listen to the Beer to Gear podcast. I listen to Breaking Points with Crystal and Sagar. I listen to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History when he puts those out, which is once a year.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say that.
It's once a year at best,
Yeah.
That's been a mountain too high to climb, because I've been having it on auto download for 6 years, and I see it and it's
That's 6 episodes, Tom.
I know. Downloading 3 gigs to listen to a podcast.
I've listened to most of the Jordan Peterson podcasts.
Cool.
I like the Joe Rogan Experience if the guest is good.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and there are times where he'll have a guest on where I will go into it thinking I don't want to hear that person, and by the end of the show, I appreciate the time I spent hearing somebody that I wasn't going to agree with, but the conversation I felt was an honest conversation. So I've had that happen a lot of times with people that I didn't think it would happen with. So now I'm more likely to try when I don't know the guest. I'm more likely to try it, but I'm also good at ejecting too. If I get it 45 minutes in and it's not vibing, I'm out.
Yes, absolutely.
What else? The Lex Friedman podcast can be excellent. Gosh, I don't know. There's just a ton, because I'm in the car a lot. For those everybody's probably tired of me talking about it, but I drive probably 20 hours a week for my job.
I know, because I get to see you fairly regularly.
I'll be through Columbus soonish, by the way. So if you want to do an in-person show, not to invite myself on your show, but I could make that happen. I'm
absolutely down. And you know what? Just let me know a little bit closer, and we'll be flexible and we'll do it around your schedule.
Okay.
Cool. It's funny you mentioned Hardcore History. There was, not to get too far off on a tangent, but there was a time where when I was in college, sophomore year, the apartment I moved into didn't have Wi-Fi set up for the first 2 months I lived there. And so having ADHD, I am incapable of doing anything like cleaning or cooking or anything like that, or just being alone without stimulation. So I needed a YouTube video or this, that, and the other. And this was the time before unlimited data was a little bit more common. So I would walk to the school library and I would download hours and hours and hours of Hardcore History. And man, did I learn an absolute ton about World War I.
I've listened to the World War I series probably 10 times. So that's 6 podcasts, Tom, and they're 3 to 5 hours each. And then the Mongol one I've listened to more than a dozen times.
Yes.
And then the Japan one is the one that's most interesting recently. and I've listened to that.
I haven't gotten to
the.
I haven't gotten to the one about Japan, but the one about the Mongols was truly incredible. And the World War One, like I think we see it in cinema and in video games and whatnot. And we're like, oh, it seems so similar to World War II, or maybe like I don't know. But that war was just an absolute mess.
Who was the movie director that married Madonna for a while, lived in Europe?
Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. The start of World War One feels like a freaking Guy Ritchie movie. It is such a pratfall, whodunit, like knucklehead, falling into success, falling into failure kind of thing. And it's until you hear it explained the way that he does it, you had no idea that that's how the war started. And like,
yes,
the 20th century was ruined because of a couple of morons in the Balkans, and a bunch of handshake agreements between dukes and kaisers.
And one of my favorite parts about that, I think it's probably the first episode that makes sense, is that like the first half of the assassination of Franz Ferdinand was like totally botched. Then
yes.
like the would-be assassins, or I guess successful assassins after that, but they were just kind of walking away from the scene of the crime, and that car that he was in just kind of rounded the corner and just presented itself to them one more time.
They staggered into a pub to drink themselves to death because they were so upset that they had missed the opportunity.
Yes.
So they were drinking, and they're like, look out the window, and they see the car's doing an 18-point turn in the road.
They're like, is that him right there?
They're like, I can't believe the grenade didn't go off. Oh wait, there he is.
We're like, wait, we can do
this. That's how the war started. All because
it's
some 20-year-old moron decided to, like, he wanted some girl to notice him. So
that's how all great things start.
Yeah, like recently I was having a conversation with a friend about she asked me if I listen to fiction, if I like fiction books. I'm like, I do, but you don't need it. Truth is stranger than fiction in a lot of ways, and that's a good example.
That's absolutely true. Gorilla Mike 5150 break is almost over. Can't wait to pick this up later. Have a great night, gentlemen. You too, brother. And thanks for your kind words. Appreciate you. I'm surprised Guy Ritchie hasn't made this movie. I think it actually would be kind of a cool movie to see, especially if they kind of played off the natural humor of the actual event, the dark natural humor of the actual event.
As much as you can find humor in that.
Yeah,
The other thing I learned in that podcast that I didn't learn in high school, didn't learn in college, was that the Germans had Lenin under lock and key. He was in jail, and they were going to let him rot in jail. And they decided to turn him loose on Russia as like China attacking our social media. They were just going to let him loose because they knew he would cause havoc. So they stuck him in a train car and sent him quietly back to Russia so that he could go cause havoc. Look what happened there. Like, nothing happened there, right? Like, that's their fault. Didn't know that until we heard the podcast.
Yeah, that's really cool.
We should read more. Yeah, we're Americans. We don't read.
Yeah, why would?
Anyway, yeah, that's History Chat with Tom, Jason, and Evan. You guys are welcome.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Join in next week when we talk about the interaction between Neanderthal and early pre-human species.
I'll produce my Ancestry.com report, and we can talk about the unnatural amount of Neanderthal DNA I have.
I think we all have a little bit, don't we? It's like a sub 1%.
Well, I have more than 70% of the people who have ever taken the Ancestry test. So you're welcome.
Oh, really? Oh, wait, you've already taken the test.
Yeah, I got a lot.
That's another thing I learned from a podcast, is just how much interaction pre-human species had with one another. Because we kind of think of, like, we look at the image of the evolving pre-human to Homo sapien kind of line up there, and we think they're all like genetically, or they're all chronologically distinct, and we think there was no overlap, but there was actually quite a bit of overlap in time between them, which is really, really cool.
They need to keep on the evolution going into 21st century evolution of Tom laying on a couch is the next evolution.
I was thinking it would be like a gentleman in a suit, and then the next one, which is like the highest, like the peak of evolution, would just be Ryan Harrell with like 6 conics.
Maybe like a velour jumpsuit, like super comfy, just ultimately evolved.
Could be.
Like he could be going out, he could be running a half marathon. We don't know.
It's true.
You better be watching this because we're referencing him an awful lot.
We'll make sure he sees it.
Okay, good.
Why don't we?
eBay.
I have a good question for you that'll steer it back towards the knife galaxy.
Oh yeah, sure.
If you're standing at a table and there's a pile of knives in front of you, all sorts of different things, what attracts you to a knife? Like, is it the size? Is it the handle? Is it the blade shape? Is it the steel alloy? What are the characteristics that will make you more likely than not to like a knife?
I really like. I'm a big steel nerd, but obviously, if I'm just staring at a table and I was kind of unaware of what steels were in which blade, I would go for like really sterile lines, and I think that's kind of typified by the Malibu. And I'm obviously digging what Brian Brown's putting out right now. I'm digging what Joseph Vero's putting out right now. And then if we're going back a little bit more old school, but still awesome, is something from like Chris Reeve, like a Sabenza. So like kind of those just clean titanium and like bare micarta, natural micarta, I should say. I really resonate with that.
You described it as sterile, but I think clean is probably a better word.
Yeah,
they're smooth. They're not over stylized.
Exactly. Like I'm not a huge fan of milling, like crazy milling patterns. Like I understand the artistry of it, and even the functionality of it when it's adding a little bit more grip. Actually, frag pattern is an exception. I have a Vero pry bar. I have a mini fulcrum that's a frag pattern, and it made me want to get literally everything in frag pattern. So that's
try his dimple pattern.
Oh yeah, that is totally awesome. That is sweet. Did you anno that yourself?
No, it came that way.
Sweet.
At Blade Show, he had a big pile of different colors available.
You know what he does really well is when he just posts like a tray of fulcrums and just numbers it, and they're all unique. I think that's so fun. There's something about that just reminds me of like an in-person experience where you can just like look at a display of something and be like, I like that one, and I want both of those. I think that's so cool.
Steve Ripplinger does that a lot too. Rips Garage Tech when he's he's doing tie clips, he'll just have 75 of them. They're all a little different. He'll be like, I don't care which one you get, pick one.
That's the problem though. Is like, is there an option where you pick the coolest one that's left? That's the option I want. Is pick the one that looks best, because whatever one I want is going to disappear before I have a chance to get it. And
exactly. Yeah, he. Another cool thing about RGT stuff is like his Timascus, like his clips and whatnot, they can range from like brown with a little blue to like blue and purple to blue and green to purple and green. Like he can just do the coolest stuff with Timascus. And that's a more or a recent or a near future, I should say, upgrade that I want to do to this one. I love the Lynch clips from Casey, but I think this would look really good with a little. Yes, exactly. I love that clip. I think this would look really good with like a purplish blue clip on the blue scale. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
And I also like supporting him because he's an awesome dude.
He is an awesome dude.
He is, and he supports the group and hooks us up with some cool stuff too.
More than once he's come to Tom and I and said, hey, is it okay if I do a coupon code? And we're like, yeah, please do it.
Yeah. And
then he'll announce it and we'll support it. And then like the next day we'll message him and go, how'd it go? And he goes, dude, I'm out of everything. I sold it all.
I love that.
This worked great because I'm moving my shop and I need to get rid of crap. And everybody bought everything. So,
yeah, that is really, really cool because I mean the group is getting such a big point now that if something like truly special, like from RGT or stuff from Casey, something really, really special and cool comes in there, like it's going to get snatched up. And that's an awesome like impact that this group can have. Like there's a lot of buying power and a lot of support power in this group, which is really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
It is funny because I get these messages, I don't know, maybe once every couple of weeks maybe, but people will like message me like, is it okay if I post that this Lynch pry bars in stock, and I'll get the message 6 hours later. So it's obviously gone. But yes, we appreciate that people share availability of things, and we're all here because we like stuff. So we share.
Yeah, and it's like after you buy, I understand that you wouldn't want to share that before you got the opportunity for you yourself to buy the pry bar or whatever it may be. But like after you buy it, let your homies buy one, you know?
Yeah.
I get compliments sometimes when I like, thanks for posting that. I'm like, don't think I did not waste a full minute checking out, buying my own first before I was kind enough to share. I'm not that.
You're welcome. There's plenty left.
I took mine. You're all good.
Yeah, because I know that in a group this size and with people like the people we have in this group, like if I post something before I buy, someone's going to have time to go to the link, add it to cart, fill out all the info, add their credit card information before I'm like old man, one digit at a time, adding my card info. I'm going to get screwed.
No doubt.
Did you guys see the Brian Brown pre-orders he put out for the Jaeger M's?
Yeah, they're pretty sick.
There's only like a dozen.
Insane.
I don't even want to talk about it too much because I don't want to ruin my chances. I missed the last two. So
well, here's the best part is you only have to like just the one version. You have to like us to stay in stock because he's ordering 1,200 knives of a ton of different variants though is the thing.
Yep. Yeah,
the kid's smart.
Yes, he is, and he could not be a nicer guy.
No, he's fantastic.
Yeah. Which is just the best thing in the world when you actually love someone's design and then you speak to them and they're better than you could have ever imagined them being. That is perfect. So if you guys have ever seen a Jaeger M or a Raptor or a Chuck or whatever and been like, man, that's so cool. I wonder if that guy is an a-hole. He's not. He's freaking awesome.
He's like unusually kind, nice, positive person. Like,
yes.
What's the catch? Because he's like really cool guy. And he has cool stuff, and he's humble. I think that's the defining thing. He's very humble about where he's come and where he's gone.
Yeah, he's super humble. His production stuff is totally off the charts cool. His custom stuff is like nothing you've ever seen before. Like, it is next level awesome, and I think it's really cool that he is. Yeah, there we go. Is that okay? Flipper tab. Oh, you guys are making me feel lame. You guys are making me feel super lame right now.
Have did you play with this one? I think I might have handed it to you, but I don't remember.
Yeah, in the Roosters parking lot.
Yeah, that's right.
Rooster I did. Something pretty cool right now is that we have Brian's personal Jaeger M that he kind of constructed from parts that Ra had sent him as spare parts. He made himself a Jaeger M out of them, and it's in for Serica right now.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool. So I got to play with it, and he when he sent me the picture of it, like hey, like when we were speccing it out, I won't give it away because it's going to be cool for him to show off what he actually gets done. But it had a Timascus pivot collar on it, and I was like, you want it Cerakoted over the pivot collar? And he's like, oh yeah. And I was like, over the Timascus? And he's like, oh, I'm popping that one out and putting a standard one back in there. I was like, oh, thank God. That would have made me so sad.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be pretty cool. So I got to have my my YM fun hanging out with Brian's.
Did you have one of them that stands out that you really like the most?
I mean, I like anything blue. So the I think it was that might have been even the first one he posted with the what do they call it? What did he call it? Camo carbon, or is that what it was called?
The camo carbon, and there's another one I wasn't familiar with called Raylight, or wait, what was that one?
I lost track after the first 14 of them. Oh, okay. It is the third one from the bottom, that kind of like blue. And, yeah.
Camo carbon.
Yeah, that is so sweet looking. I would get the flipperless if I'm being honest.
I might try for a flipperless, one of the blue ones. The cool thing though is when he says here, there's roughly. I'm a little confused on how this is worded, but it sounds like of all the variants together, there's going to be, it says 1,400 knives, which is really cool because it's obviously a very popular design and it just keeps on getting more popular. So I like when cool stuff can get out to a lot of people and still hold some specialness, but I think they could make a lot more than that and still have it be pretty special.
Speaking of special, Evan, tell us what it's like to live near Philip Swincher and to be in his orbit.
So Philip Swincher he's less of a person and he's more of an enigma. He is an energy being, an orb, as it were, maybe an aura you would describe him as.
Women want him, men want to be him.
Exactly. He's a storm, but he's also, the calm after the storm. So that's all I'll say. That's the only way I can describe it if I'm being honest.
He's the wall of the eye of the hurricane.
Yes, exactly. Right. He separates peace from total anarchy. But no, seriously, Phil is awesome. I love that dude.
I met him at the shop for the first time. He knew me before I knew him, and he came right over and started talking to me, and then that created the bond, the inseparable bond really that we had. And then we went to Roosters that night and had dinner, and got to hang with him some more. I've since learned that he doesn't understand his chicken wing parts. It's okay, we still love him, but I just tagged him in this video right here because he isn't watching yet. Normally he's on, so I hope he's all right. I hope he's in this dimension and not interdimensional travel. Something,
yes, he's hard to nab down. I hope everyone keeps tagging it.
Everybody watching it now, please tag Philip Swincher. Let's just fill up his notifications.
But the best part about keeping everything super local is that he lives within 1 minute of the shop, and then our gym that we both go to is in a triangle. So I run into him pretty much daily at the store, and then also daily at the gym.
Wait. You run into him daily at the store?
Pretty much.
Does he just come hang out, have some rec coffee, or just fiddle with stuff, or just
give him a W-2 and let him clock in?
Yeah. Honestly, we give him a little contractor work. No, but he stops in. He's constantly modifying stuff, so he's always pestering Everett to help him out with something. But he also, he keeps his eye out. He doesn't trust that I'll call him when a cool spider coat comes in. So he's always got to come and test it out. But,
sure. He's got a good collection.
And he carries a PM2 in gym shorts at the gym. So if you've ever doubted if he's a true knife guy,
no.
I don't carry a knife at the gym.
No, he's a stud.
He's always got a who did the lime green 20CV knife choy? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's always got a knife choy PM2 on him at the gym, which is just iconic. And my favorite part about it is if you ask him about it, he'll just freaking flick it out and do this. And there's people everywhere. They're all like, "Oh my god!" Did he just join?
I've had dinner with a few times with knife people, and some of them have no regard for where they are or what's going on. They just start I'm like, guys, we're at a restaurant. There's families over there. You should do a little lower.
Exactly. Yeah, even the Asian restaurant we went to in Atlanta, we were all trying to kind of keep it a little bit under wraps. When the server would come over, we'd all kind of just cover all of our knives in our hands. But it's hard to contain your knife enthusiasm at Blade Show, so I don't blame them.
I went to dinner with Jeff Lawfer a couple months ago from Cutlery Shop and his friends who. We'll say big personalities, very big personalities. And we were just sitting around. I was sitting around the table flipping an Arius and a Liang Ma, and we were all playing with stuff. And then I realized how much of an idiot I was because Jeff Lawfer, who's familiar with knives, he's over in the corner, playing with my knives, holding his shirt up basically so no one sees it. And we're just sitting around, it's oh, I'm the asshole. I get it.
He's a true knife professional.
He's a professional about it.
So with Leon Ma, and I know you guys have Brian Brown's and obviously Vera is floating around. Who is your favorite overseas OEM? Because I know you guys have experienced several. We guys, React guys, Best Tech guys. What do you think's your favorite so far?
React.
You want to think about it, Tom?
No.
A little time. Okay.
I have lately over the last I like my Veros. Veros made my Best Tech. We stuff. I've had some decent stuff, but I've really fallen in love with Riot collaboration knives over in 2021. I guess that's besides Koenig. That's the route I have kind of gone down with my collection. Is like, for example, like custom knife maker collaborations with Riot. They feel like a high-end knife, and you're paying $300 to $400 for them. It's really hard to beat. I mean,
yeah, the Pena X's are amazing. The Jaegers are amazing. The Liang Ma's are amazing.
Sharp by Design.
Sharp by Designs are amazing.
Oh yeah.
Jake's knife, the Aryan.
No, the Avant.
The Avant. His is.
Haven't touched it yet. I imagine it will be amazing. They're just very good at the little things. They're very good at the details. I haven't seen any Wii collabs. So Josh Haga just threw up Wii as his favorite. The Wii knives themselves are phenomenal, but I haven't touched any of the collabs. I don't know what those are like.
So
somebody probably does some. Chavez, yeah, the Chavez are excellent.
Yeah, that's Riot.
They waste too much steel on them. They could make 2 more knives out of every knife, but they don't. They go deep. They go thick. That's okay. But
did you guys see the scapegoats that came out here recently from Chavez? So. Oh man, it's a really cool design. It's got like a really defined choil. That's a really fun one. And I really love Ramon's designs, but I never was a fan of the pocket clip. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm like a 5'7", small guy, and there's just nothing that says like not good for my body type, like a skull clip in the pocket.
Okay, here's the deal. Don't tell anybody. I secretly think they look really cool, but I can't do it. But I think it looks cool. Like I think it's a really neat design element that defines those knives. And if I was a guy who's a skull guy, I would be about that thing.
Yes, I totally agree. I mean, the machine work on the actual clip itself looks like it costs $100. Like if it came from, I won't mention names. If it came from another manufacturer, it probably would cost $100 to buy it secondary. But they're shipping with a plain clip now, and now I'm like, dang, now I need a Chavez.
I've always loved their profile, just the silhouette shape of it. Even the parts that kind of I thought were funny, like the square end of the handle kind of shape, and just it doesn't look ergonomic, but it has a cool factor. It just does. Yeah. And then I felt one, and it was like the detent and the thumb stud are just as beefy and skull-like as the skull-like clip. It was just it's a man's knife, I guess is the word.
Yeah, it's a serious knife. And some of the only like knife conversations that I've had outside of like the internet and actually at the store or Blade Show or like a knife specific event are because I've seen Chavez clips in people's pockets, and that if someone has a Chavez, it's just so identifiable. Like that's not a knife you like stumble into as not a knife guy. So if you see someone with a Chavez clip in their pocket, you can like 100% guarantee they're going to want to talk to you about knives. And that's happened to me at a Kroger one time. And it was a great experience.
Same with the Spyderco logo. See that on a clip, you're good.
Yeah, a Spyderco logo. Microtech clips are really easy to identify poking out, especially when they got a glass breaker on the end of it. Yeah, there's quite a few clips that you can kind of identify and know that guy's going to want to talk to you about knives, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you guys had any knife combos outside of the internet or outside of like a knife specific event that were gratifying?
I have been the self-appointed person. So I work at a large commercial general contractor. So there's a lot of people that like knives because I live in Portland, Oregon, and most American-made knives are made in Portland, Oregon.
Right.
So it's been really inviting environment, but I have crafted my niche within my company as I am the knife guy. So it's almost socially acceptable to sit at my desk and flick a PM2 and be annoying about that noise. And the most gratifying conversations, besides getting Benchmade converts to Spyderco, which I've probably done a dozen, is having my boss's boss on a regular weekly basis come up behind me and go flick and flick his PM2 because he loves it that much. That getting to have knife conversations. I keep a Weehaw set in my desk. I keep all this stuff because my desk becomes a gathering point to talk knives. And it's just a construction company, so everyone likes knives, and that's
really cool.
I get lucky in that sense that I have a job that's not necessarily permissive of it, but it's an environment that's accepting of knives.
That's really, really cool. How about Jason?
No, nothing like that really. Like where I work, there's no way that would happen. Not in a million years. But I don't know. When I was younger man, I used to work at a guitar shop, and
cool.
I got a Spyderco as a wedding gift from groomsmen in like 2000, and it's 2000. Yeah, it was 2000. It's a long time ago, and it was a clip at Delica, and
nice.
It just so happened that a buddy of mine had just bought a Delica also. And we used to do like quick draw competitions to see who could draw their Delica faster. And then the two other guys that I worked with all got Spydercos, and we would all, quick draw our Delicas. But with the backlock, you can't really flick them. Nobody knew what a Spidey flick was then. So we would do the trick where you grab the hole and you flick it this way and grab the drop. So we did that, and yeah, everybody at work liked him. So that was cool. And we get all these shipments in all day long of stuff off the UPS truck. And you're just murdering boxes, opening stuff. So that was a little kinship with knives. And then, I don't know, being in charge of a big Spyderco group, you run into people everywhere you go. So when I travel for work, it's not hard to find members,
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, I'm in town. Whoa, I didn't know you're here. And then we'll hang out and see stuff. There's a bunch of people that live near me that are in the club. So
that's really cool.
I get to see them from time to time. Greg Bartram is a general contractor, mechanical contractor, and he works all over my side of town. So he'll stop by after work a lot. And he'll be like, you won't believe what I have in my pocket. It's come on over. So he'll come over and we'll hang out on the porch and play with knives. So
he's a really good dude.
He's a fantastic guy. It's fun to have that common thread with people, and get to know their collection. They get to know my collection. You can trade them, share them. It's fun.
Yeah, that's another really cool thing about having kind of knife friends, especially people that are on the same level as you, like collection wise, is that you feel really comfortable like loaning a knife to them and taking a knife in return, so you don't have to buy as many knives. So you're just kind of a little knife exchange deal. That's one of the coolest parts about working in a knife business, is that even customers, like this knife Phil carried for like 3 weeks, and I thought that he had stolen it at one point, and I was like, I'm never seeing that thing again. I forget what he gave me in as trade. Oh, it was an 0562 tie from ZT.
Yeah.
I guess I got to get used to this thing because Phil's never coming back with my beloved Pair 3.
I guess he came through.
Oh, he came back with it finally.
Yep.
He missed me enough.
I actually have several people. I forget this. I have several people from my work that are in the group, and sometimes we'll talk about stuff. So there's a guy named Taylor Larson. If you're watching, I'm going to bug you because I'm going back to work on Monday.
Shout out, Taylor.
He asked me about when is that really cool looking green and gold PM2 coming out. For 2.5 years, every single week he asked about when your guys' PM2 is going to come out, and it made me feel like really special. Like, I'll let you know, and figure out, it's coming. It's down the pike a long ways, but it like made me feel special at work. Like, oh, someone's interested in something besides construction. And
That's really cool. Did he end up getting one? Please tell me he got one.
He got one.
Oh, thank God.
It was on the emails, and once it got announced that it was coming that week, I don't think he did anything besides sit on his email.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad he got himself one. I can't do the loading feel.
I had a member once reach out to me, and he was like in distress. He was like, "Hey, you guys won't shut up about these Koenigs. You won't shut up about them. Are they really any good? Are you guys just full of crap? Are you being paid to say this?" You know, he was really like, "I gotta know, is Santa real?" That was basically like how he's coming at me. And I said, "You want to try mine? I'll mail it to you." And he just went, "What?" I said, "I'll send it to you. You can try it out.
What are you talking about?
Try it out. Don't buy one until you try it. I think you'll like it." And he couldn't believe that I did that. I put it in an envelope. I mailed it to him, and he got it, and he just crapped himself. He's like, "This thing's incredible." And it wasn't that much longer after that he quietly sold off a few Spyderco and bought one. And since then, he really hasn't looked back. He's a different kind of collector than he was before. And I think of the Koenig areas as like a red pill moment for a lot of people. And you don't necessarily have to love it, but when you play with production knives from large corporations, whether it doesn't matter who, and then you go to a knife that is made by 6 people, you know, in very small batches with meticulous attention to detail, and then you play with that and you go, wow, well, that's 600, and you know, a Sliz Bowie secondhand is 600. And you're like, wow, these just aren't, it's not even in the same ballpark. It's not even the same sport. It's like, you know, one's baseball and one's football. And so it's mind blowing. So, you know, Josh, if you get a chance to make somebody's day by, you know, sending them something, they get to check it out. It feels good to be able to do that. And then to have other people do that for you is also cool. I did a trade with an Instagram person I've never met in person, but she has a good reputation and I have a reputation, and we know each other and we have mutual friends. And, you know, she sent me a couple knives. I sent her a couple knives, and it was cool because I got to try some stuff I never would have picked up. Even if I had been at the table, I wouldn't have touched them. They just weren't my style. But holding them and touching them and feeling them gave me a different appreciation for something that I would have normally overlooked. So that's the eye-opening part is really fun.
It is. I mean, what you're saying about the Koenig being a red pill moment, I totally agree. The styling of it, I know this is going to be not a popular opinion. I don't love the styling of it, but the quality of that knife is insane. So good. The action's incredible. And my favorite part about that knife is the sound of like the sound of it on opening is so metallic and like Star Wars cool. Like I dig that. I dig that knife, even if I don't love the way it looks.
I can't know how much time, but I can tell that Bill has spent countless hours calibrating like the detent ramp and the tension in the lock bar so that it feels like a spring assist as the blade opens. And
it does.
More than almost any other knife I can think of, there's so much attention to that part. So as the blade comes open, the lock bar helps the blade open, and it just gives it that extra thwack when it comes out. It's really nice.
It is a super nice knife.
And like you're saying, like we talk about Koenigs more than
we should for a Spyderco group.
More than we should for a Spyderco group. And we're not saying that you're going to love it, but like Jason said, it is very much like, it's different. It's not like a PM2. It's not like a Sliz Bowie. Yeah. It's a different league, and I didn't like the way they looked at first, but then you kind of use it and hold it, and same with the PM2. I thought PM2s look stupid. I thought Delicas look stupid. Your tastes evolve, your tastes change. Who wants a knife with a big hump on it? Why do we think they're so attractive? But it gets in our head somehow that we find beauty in the functionality of a Spyderco. Like,
yeah, definitely.
To find beauty in a metal and plastic object is interesting. So I don't know. It's very interesting how like passionate people are about the way knives look when it's an object, but we've decided it's supposed to look a certain way.
Yeah, I get that, and I'm kind of that same way with a lot of different material possessions in life. Like I'm a big watch guy, obviously a big knife guy, sneakers and cars and all like that kind of stuff.
All the cool stuff.
All the cool guy stuff, you know. All the not super nerdy hobbies, like looking and staring at macro photos of a watch all the time. Yeah. but yeah, I think I agree that those kind of blades are definitely on the next level. And I think that when we're kind of looking at a timeline of knives, I think Koenig, and I know Josh mentioned the Oz Roosevelt. I think those kind of knives are going to almost occupy the same spot that CRK and Hinderer have occupied for the last 10, 15 years. In the next coming years, I think those guys are really going to come into their own and really take their rightful spot on the top there. And you know, they're made they're made by people that care. They're made in small batches, and I don't know. Have you guys had any experience with interacting with those companies, or I shouldn't even say companies, but interacting with those groups of people on a personal level, or like with customer service concerns or anything like that? Or is it as good as you'd hope?
So in the case of Koenig, there's only one person that does final assembly and all of the front office work and all of the warranty stuff. So
that's one person's job.
You're going to be reaching Garrett. Garrett's the guy, you know.
That's cool.
I needed a screw for one of my knives. I reached out via email. Garrett said no problem. He sent me the screw I needed, you know, and that was that. And it was something that I didn't think I would be able to get. Actually, I wanted to pivot, and some companies are really precious about pivots. Like Spyderco will not send you a pivot under any reason.
Yeah.
But they did. They took care of me. And then you were asking about just getting to know them a little bit. Tom and I were able to talk to Bill Koenig and Tim Reeve together in the pit at the Blade Show. They were hanging out together, and we just wandered over boldly and talked to them for like 20 minutes. It was awesome. Talked to both of them. Turns out they're good friends. You know,
yeah,
they have a lot of things in common that they admire about each other. So they hang out when they're not working.
That's cool. And that's another thing. Like you would think there'd be a little bit more dealer animosity where there really isn't. And I can't speak for any manufacturers, but from what I have observed at trade shows and at events like that, is that these men and women, they respect each other. They respect each other's innovation and hard work and what they've done for the community. So I think that's really cool that they can interact like that and not be butting heads like you would almost expect them to. I think a lot of the times it's more the fan bases that go after each other than the actual manufacturers. They couldn't care less about other manufacturers. They're too busy trying to make awesome knives and get them into as many hands as possible, I feel like.
It's not college football. It's a hobby with knives, and it's not that big of a hobby, to be really frank. So to get too territorial about it is silly. It's weird because it's unlike other material possessions where if you look at like a car company or cars in general, like generally most people will have one car per person. And when you get to this level of knife collecting where you're actually getting into like the Spydercos and the Benchmades, and obviously there's a whole lot more on top of that. But it's you don't get that many people that just only have room in their collection for one knife anyway. If it was kind of almost limited and the competition was driven by that, I feel like that would cause a little bit more animosity. But people have such varied collections nowadays that there's room for everyone, I feel like. I agree.
There's a big difference that consciously or unconsciously it's shaped my opinion of a lot of my knives that I've gotten recently. And I will use a different company as an example who maybe has a more typical social media setup, like Benchmade. If you message Benchmade, they will get back to you. You'll be talking to somebody. They have a social media manager who all over the place, but that's what they are. They're a social media manager. Like Vero or Liang Ma or Koenig, I literally can just message the person whose name is literally there, and that's really, really neat. It's not like, you know, I need them immediately available. Like, hey, I bent my clip, but it's really cool that I can reach out and have a conversation. Like, I posted a video of like a Vero knife, and Joseph sends me a message, which is like really cool feeling.
Yeah.
Only two people will hit you from Vero. It'll be Mr. Vero or Mrs. Vero.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's
cool. Michelle Vero, like Joseph Vero is awesome. I think Michelle Vero might be the mind and the muscle behind that company. She is awesome. she is a truly awesome business person to deal with. She's really
She's an amazing person. I got to hang out with her at Blade Show. I was lucky enough to work the booth for a few hours.
You were there.
I was like, "Where are you? What are you doing?" I'm like, "They need help. I'm gonna help out for a while. It's fun." And he's like, "Okay."
And I was like,
super dope.
I was wandering around lonely without Jason. I go over to the Vero booth. I'm like, oh, whatever. Just like
Tom's got one of those lemonade shake-ups, and he's just sitting there sucking.
Jason's got like a Vero hat and a Vero shirt on.
To be fair, he is qualified to run the Vero.
I'm like, I cut myself. You're really sharp. Look. No, we had a great time, and she's fantastic.
Yeah, they're an awesome duo. I dig them. I really want a Vero. Oh shoot! Now that we're sitting here, it's gonna slip my mind. It was one of the Impulse.
The first one. The Impulse.
Yes.
Was the OG Vero.
Yes, I love that knife. I remember where I was when I saw the first image of that knife, and it was in. Jason, don't do that to me.
No, you don't want it. It's terrible.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's just. It looks horrible. It's definitely not cool looking at all.
You want this thing. You want one of these too.
Was it an XL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a standard. I have a standard Synapse, but the XL is super badass. I was sitting in a Wendy's drive-through, scrolling through my Instagram Explore page, and I saw that knife, and I was like, "Holy crap! Did Apple design a knife?" And then it just completely fell down the rabbit hole, and it turns out they couldn't be better people. So that makes it even cooler.
I do recommend the Impulse.
That's sick.
The blade is badass.
I know, then that's why I like it.
There's no worries with this blade. For one thing, it is just beefy and evil, and it's going to cut whatever you need. It is not a PM2 in terms of slicer.
No,
it has such a nice full flat grind here. It cuts great. I've seen a couple pop up recently that were reground by Micah Sontag.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That would be pretty badass. That would be a good way to go. But yeah, this is a knife you could hard use and not worry about it at all. The flipper tab is my favorite feature that he does. This downward flipper tab is so cool. The fact that it looks sort of incognito, and when the blade is open, it disappears into the handle. Makes them really, really cool.
Yeah, like just looking at the channel where the blade stops travel and all of his knives, actually getting them in hand and viewing them. I think Cerakote. There was a few that had been sent into Cerakote before we went to Blade Show, but I was like, this is so cool. There's like the little touches like that really got me on those. They're awesome, awesome knives.
I think he's going to do another Impulse run soonish. So it's been a while since he's released another Impulse. So if you want one, I think in the next couple months you'll probably be able to get one.
I'm actually in on the Axon pre-order. I got natural micarta and belt satin, which I think was either the cheapest option or the second cheapest option, because I think black G10 may have been cheaper than natural micarta.
Stonewash is a little cheaper, and G10.
Oh, okay. Then I got two upgrades, guys. So look at
Stonewash is a big up. I mean, belt grind's a big upgrade than Stonewash.
Yeah.
His stone is pretty good. The stone does not look like garbage. It's nice. It's on the path to like the Sliz Bowie Stonewash.
It's nice and even.
Not as shiny. It's not smoky like that, but it's on the path to that. So it's nice and even and nice. The belt satin is really cool. It's easy to take care of.
And if you talk to Joe, so my first Vero I ever ordered was the Synapse January 2020,
Okay.
long time ago. And I ordered this stonewash. And then I talked to Joseph. He's like, dude, I literally designed this knife to look like it does with the belt satin. So I switched, and I've had hand satins, I've had belt satins. I just got a Synapse XL yesterday that was hand satin. So I'll have Gen 1 that's belt and Gen 2 hand. This knife is not the smoothest knife. It's not the best knife, but it's one of the most enjoyable and fun knives to sit around and just.
Tom, keep flipping it. Mine is getting smoother and smoother.
Yeah, it's smooth.
I put that in mine as well.
I guess I'm not saying it's not unsmooth. It's just not the defining feature of the action. The defining feature to me is like how fast it is, how fun it is. It's not like a shear where it's like hydraulic and slow and smooth. It's just like, it's fun. It shoots open. It's got an awesome flipper tab placement. I don't know why this is not standard for everybody, but
Yeah.
I think he like, just because he's popularized that kind of flipper tab, I think that it'll take a long time before that makes its way into other knives, just because it would be such an obvious knockoff at this point. But I love that flipper tab. It's such a good idea. Yeah, that's the hand satin, correct?
I prefer the hand satin. People are generally worried that it's hard to take care of, and if my Synapse standard does have a couple marks in it from where I hit something metal, opening a box or whatever, but I was able to remove 99% of it with a rust eraser. You just got the rust eraser, and I just worked it in the same direction as the rub, and it came right out. So one thing I like about a hand rub is that you could hand rub it a lot easier than you can do a belt, because the hand rubbed really is done by hand. So it's just a matter of getting the proper grit and replicating it.
That's true.
I got a blade scratch on my 57 rub, and that made me sad, really sad. So in a panic, I didn't know where my rust eraser was. I ran around my house, found it, and just started scrubbing away. It took like 15-30 seconds, and it was like kind of gone, and it was kind of saved my day, saved my week.
It was gone enough that it didn't bother you anymore.
It's gone. It's 100% gone.
That's cool.
Yeah, rust erasers are really cool. I mean, they don't always work, but it's definitely not worth. It's worth trying for sure.
It's worth having around for $3. That's for sure.
There's $6 on Amazon. I suggest getting the one on Amazon that has a picture of an old pocket knife with half the blade covered with rust. It costs like $6.39. I've had one for 3 or 4 years. It's now in 2 separate pieces, so I kind of have 2 of them. And it'll get marks off G10. It'll get marks off DLC, and it will hopefully try to save your knife if you get a scratch in the blade.
I've never used it on G10. It's kind of
G10.
Oh, okay, smooth G10. Rock on.
It works on rough G10 too.
Yeah.
If you buy a Spyderco and somebody made it left-handed, and there's a clipped ghost on the wrong side of the knife, then you can use the rust eraser, and it'll get rid of almost all of it.
Cool. That makes sense.
Yeah.
My Alexa just went off. It felt neglected. It hasn't been.
Alexa, what is a rust eraser?
Noun, restorator, can have a couple meanings. 1.
Alexa, stop. Okay, I have a real Alexa. I'm gonna bring it in here because this one's like mainly a speaker. I'm gonna bring like an actual Amazon one here because this is like an ESL Alexa. It's like English as a second language.
Why do you think it's not the real thing?
It's a lot slower than my normal one. My Amazon branded one like reacts way faster.
Right.
And the Sonos one is like, it goes off all the time at 2 a.m. Freaks me out.
Alexa, play Baby Shark theme song.
Baby Shark by Pink Phone. Children's from Pandora.
The most viewed YouTube video of all time.
Yeah, that's We were just talking about that, Bailey and I, the other day, and we were talking about Cocomelon and how those guys started on YouTube and like made millions of dollars just off of doing that kind of stuff. So cool. Rain would love this.
Alexa, pause.
Pause.
Just let it run. Just let it run the whole time.
Hey, I don't want to lose my spot when I pick this song up later. I want to know where I left.
I
With
did
the
it to
don't
Tom.
start it off.
I did it to
Just
Tom a
pause.
couple days ago. He got up to go get something from the other room, so I told her to start playing it so that when he came back, it would be on. It was fun. Oh man, let's see. What else can we talk about?
Brian Brown. There's a bureau drop on Friday.
Do you guys have anything coming soon that you want to talk about? Any exclusives? Any secrets?
So as far as exclusives go, there's so many contracts and just everything is timeline free at this point, which is obviously really frustrating for you guys. It's also a little bit hard for us just because it'd be easier to be able to plan these things out ahead of time. But it's more like, hey, this is on the way. Good luck kind of deal. So those are, I know you guys know that Spyderco is kind of taking a little bit of a step back from exclusives and sprints to kind of focus on line items for the time being. So the timelines are getting a little bit further pushed out, allegedly. So I don't exactly know when the next exclusive is going to be dropping. I'm trying to think.
We talk about that point all the time, and I just wanted you to say it. Like, the dealers don't know when the stuff's coming. So when you go in the group and go, when's the Scorpion P3 coming? It's like it'll get here when it gets here, and no one knows. Yeah. We really don't know.
Yeah, I wish. I mean, it would be super awesome if they would say like, this is coming in September, and this is coming in December, and then this is coming in May, whatever. That would be really cool because it'd be really fun to be able to plan around that, create content that kind of surrounds that drop. It'd be really fun. Most of the time, it's kind of a 1 to 2-ish week advance notice that we know things are on the way. And then we have to get all the infrastructure down and be sweating and worried and pre-packing and hoping that the website doesn't crash or this or that doesn't happen. So it's the best time of year when an exclusive comes out. But it can be a little bit stressful because I know there's never enough to get it in everyone's hands, and that sucks. If we could get 2,500 of them a go, then we would. But just with the way things are with Spyderco right now, and with production in general, not just in the U.S. but overseas, it's just not feasible to get that knife into everyone's hands. But it's always fun when that comes back around.
You can say this though, I don't think there's anyone that cares more than the Kents about trying to get as many knives to as many people as possible and feeling really personally bummed out that people didn't get them. So
that is 100% true.
I know on more than one occasion, Brian has let his personal item go because one more person needed one and he did without, so that someone could have it. And I don't know
I've
any
seen
collectors that would do that.
I've seen Brian do that. They are all about the customer, and that's why they're the best. That's why they're great people to work for, and that's why they're great people to buy from. They're great men. So I've seen them do what you're describing right now, and it's pretty cool to watch because you see someone who's completely like dejected, like they didn't get what they were hoping to get, and they think there's no chance. And then when you kind of go like, oh, we might have one in the back, and then it turns out to be Mike's personal one that he just hasn't pulled out of the box yet, and that person would never know that that's what he did. It's not like he's like reaching into his pocket and be like, here you go, buddy, you can have mine. You know, like he makes it low key and goes, he'll hook it up, but in a low key way. And just to see their face light up, it's really, really cool.
I still think it's funny because whenever you guys do a drop, me and Jason are usually in pretty close conversations with
Yeah.
Brian and Mike. Just we want to know what's going on. We love the
It's like
fact
we're in
that
the room.
they let us be like, watch what's going on. And it's always funny to me. They are always so worried that it's not going to sell out or no one's going to want it.
Right.
No one's going to want these 400 shamans.
Right as you're about to push the button, they're like, nobody's gonna want this piece of crap.
No one's gonna
Hold
want
on.
this. Why does anyone want to buy from us? Jeez.
Yeah, that's it's always a thought that I know crosses their mind, and now it's more like, oh crap, there's 10,000 people on the website. It's holding on by like a shoestring. We're like, please don't crash. But now we're having the opposite issue. Yeah, Brian, I know
I
loses.
need Kanye to tweet something controversial so people stop looking for a minute.
Yes, exactly. I need people to. I need the traffic to be drawn away.
Right.
Yeah, Brian loses sleep before and after every drop. I guarantee that. He's always worrying about it because he cares.
Well, gentlemen, we've been on this for an hour 45. We should probably wrap it soon. Do we have any?
It's been an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, we've been at it for a minute.
I'm looking over at Bailey and she's nodding her head like, yes, it's been an hour and
It's
45 minutes.
only been an hour and 45 minutes. I've been hearing nonsense come out of your computer forever.
Inviting these
Yeah,
two
you should have
yokels
seen
in
her
our
face
home.
when Baby Shark turned on. She doesn't understand what's going on.
We don't either.
But she's a good sport.
Thanks, Bailey.
You're welcome.
Well, I think we should wrap it up here and
Cool.
say goodnight to everybody. Oh, wait a second.
Oh my
Look who's
gosh! At
joining.
the very last moment, Phil pops in. How can you lose?
Back from his recent trip to the Congo. Philip Swincher's here.
Go to here's how you tell. You take your box and there'll be 2 letters on it. One will be the first letter represents the month. It goes A, B, C, January, February. The second letter is a number. For a reference point, T is 20. So 2020 is T. So find out what letter that is, and if it's newer than 2018, it's a CQI.
So April 20, for example, would be DT.
Yes.
March 20 would be CT. Got it. So
Look at the dates on it, and I think it's 2018-ish is when they changed. So just look for a date that's newer than that. The ones that are older are significantly older. They'll be like 2016.
you can also go to spideywiki.com and you can look up the advocate and you can see it'll enumerate what the differences are and when they changed.
Also, here's probably the easiest way, flip it. If it doesn't flip well, it's old. If it flips well, it's new. That's what they CQI'd.
Constant quality improvement. Proof of concept.
If
Well, there you go,
you
Philip.
flip it and it goes to only here, it's probably pre-CQI.
Wait, I have one of those.
When they got discontinued.
Oh my god!
When they were discontinued, Knife Center had them at 50% off, and I've always thought the Advocate looked cool. I just couldn't justify it, and I just rolled the dice, and I'm like, please be post CQI. Get out of the box, flip it, little boop, send it back.
More of a 90-degree flip. Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's a flopper, not a flipper.
Correct.
Technically.
And on that note, it's time to wrap it up, gentlemen.
What a joke to end it on. So everyone, thank you for watching. I'm Jason. That's Tom. We're joined by Evan from Rec. This has been FFIB, and thanks for joining us. And we will see you next week with a guest to be determined. And thanks for watching. Take care.
See you, gentlemen. Thanks.